We are Local News Radio, WRWH and W230CT Cleveland. Thanks for joining us here this evening on WRWH for the Cleveland Mayoral Candidate Forum. We're at the Roy Ash Building, Community Building here behind United Community Bank in Cleveland. And we got a nice crowd, a large crowd already in the building here ready to start this candidate forum going for today, this evening with our two candidates, Annie Sutton and Josh Turner. And this candidate forum is being sponsored by White County Chamber of Commerce in cooperation with White County News and Local News Radio. All right, we got Beth Truelove, White County Chamber of Commerce president, to open up and start the program for this evening. Beth?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Beth Truelove, and I have the distinct honor of serving you as the president of your White County Chamber of Commerce. We're so glad to work with our partners at White County News and WRWH Radio to bring this candidates forum to you today. I do want to take just a brief moment to recognize some folks that we have in the audience. We have from the city of Cleveland, our city council person, Mr. Bradley Green. Thank you, Bradley, for coming. We also have Nan Bowen, also city council person. Good to see you, Nan. From our county commission, we have Terry Goodyear, who represents the city of Cleveland. Good to see you, Mr. Goodyear. From Senator David Perdue's office, we have Andrew Seaver. Good to see you, Andrew. And from Senator Kelly Loeffler's office, we have David Warnell. Glad to have you in the region, David. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to get started because we have a lot of questions. We had almost 50 questions submitted ahead of this debate, so we're very excited, and we're hoping to get to all our questions tonight. Our moderator this evening is the editor of the White County News, Mr. Wayne Hardy. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Wayne. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Beth. Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you all to the candidate forum for the Cleveland special election for mayor. And again, I want to thank Chamber, WRWH for hosting this event with us. First off, I just also want to welcome our two candidates for mayor this evening, Annie Sutton, Josh Turner, who will soon, thank you, go ahead. Both of whom will soon have a chance to tell you a little bit more about themselves. Agreeing to serve in public office is no small task. You're giving of your free time. You're also taking on the responsibilities and expectations of a leadership role. And before we get started, I would like for us to show our appreciation to the candidates for the willingness to participate in this forum and to offer themselves in public service. We're going to begin this evening by letting Ms. Sutton and Mr. Turner have up to 5 minutes for an introduction and opening remarks. And after that, I'll go over some more ground rules for tonight's forum. And what I'll do tonight, I'm going to lead off with Ms. Sutton, if you have the floor for 5 minutes. Up to.
Y'all know I can talk. My name is Annie Sutton, and I am happy to be here tonight and see all of you guys. I am a lifelong resident of White County in Cleveland, Georgia. I have 5 sisters. I think 4 of them are back there. And I have a brother who is deceased. My son is here tonight. He's standing in the back. I'm very proud of him. And I'm glad that he was able to make it. I graduated from White County High School. I attended North Georgia Technical School, which is North Georgia University, I think now. But I really like living in Cleveland. And I just don't know what else I could tell you. I've been on the city, served on the city council here in Cleveland for 20 years. I went in 2000, and it was a great honor because I was the first black woman to ever serve in White County. And that was a great, great honor that the people of Cleveland thought so much about me that they would put me in office and let me stay there as long as I have been. I have worked with the Georgia Municipal Association, where I serve on the board of directors as first vice president for the 2nd District, which is North Georgia, 13 counties in North Georgia. I also serve on the board, I did serve on the board of Georgia Mountains Regional Commission, and that was a great honor when they elected me elected official of the year. That was a total surprise. I was in the bathroom when they announced it. So my sister had to come get me. And the other gentleman who was also nominated from his county, he was in the bathroom. So we must have had something going on that night. But I do, from Georgia Municipal Association, I have received the Leadership Award, recognition, achievement, excellent, distinction, and dedication. All those that's all you can get in that association, and I have all of them. In the first 4 years, in 2 years, I had 3 of them. Then the next couple of years, I got the other 2 all together. But I am proud to say that I'm glad to be a resident of the city of Cleveland, Georgia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Turner?
Well, thank you, Wayne. Thank you for moderating this debate. Thanks to the chamber, Beth, and Dean at the radio station. We appreciate y'all doing that. And thank you, all of you, for being here tonight. What a great turnout. It's very encouraging to see so much participation in our elective process. It's very much a good thing. I'm Josh Turner. I'm a lifelong resident of White County. Graduated from White County High School and the University of North Georgia. I'm married to my wife, Lacey, who's here on the second row. We have 2 children, Weston, who's 5. He's a kindergartner in White County schools, and our daughter Hallie James just turned 1 last month. So we certainly have active lives, and it's a lot of fun raising kids right now. And that's the reason I'm running for mayor. I have 2 young kids whose future is bright, and we have a city that needs some help, in my opinion. I feel like that we're at a place right now that we are at a crux where we can have tremendous growth. When you look around at other cities in Northeast Georgia, they're flourishing. They have revitalized downtown districts. Economic growth is booming. Businesses are flourishing. And I feel like that Cleveland has so much more to offer. And I feel like I have the vision, the leadership, and the experience to take us there. Just a little bit more about myself. Previously served as the chairman of the White County Republican Party. I'm a proud Republican and conservative. I served for 3 years as chairman. Also attended the 2008 Republican National Convention as a delegate. I was the youngest one from Georgia that year. I'm the only candidate to have the endorsement from the White County Republican Party. I'm proud of that. I served on the Development Authority of White County for several years. And my wife and I and our family attend Concord Baptist Church. I look forward to speaking with you more in depth about the issues facing Cleveland, and I would appreciate your vote, your prayers, and support. And I promise if you elect me mayor, I'll go to work every day, I'll work hard, and I would appreciate your vote, and you can depend on me to do the right thing. Thank you.
Again, thank you both for being here. Just a reminder, at the very end, we will also have a period for both candidates to give closing remarks as well. Just before we begin, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the format. Each question will be presented to both candidates. Each candidate gets up to 5 minutes to answer the question. I'll try to alternate between candidates going first. That way we kind of give it a little balance on it. I also want to point out, too, when it comes to time, that Beth Truelove with the Chamber will be our official timekeeper tonight. She will give you a wave, try and get your attention when we get to a 30 seconds left in your time, give you a little warning there, and then you'll get a second wave again whenever your time is up. Doesn't mean you have to stop mid-word, but the expectation would be that you kind of finish your sentence, and so we can move on and get as many questions as we can in tonight. So if you see her waving, it's not to say hello. She's just give you a warning. Time's near. We have a rather lengthy slate of questions. As Beth alluded to earlier, we had a few dozen that were submitted to both the Chamber and to the White County News. While it's impossible to get through all of them tonight, there is some overlap, so hopefully we're going to cover a lot of interest, and we'll proceed to get through as many as we can in the time allotted. We also have, if you didn't get told at the door, index cards in the back. So if you do happen to have a question, feel free to get the index card back here with Ms. Reed Tomlin and fill it out. We'll try and get that passed up here, and we'll try and work that into the rotation of questions we have tonight.
Need more volume back here in the back.
How about now?
It's not amplified. You don't have any amplified?
Okay. Well, then I'll speak up. Thank y'all. I need good feedback like that. All right, we're going to go ahead and proceed with the question and answers. Miss Annie, we're going to lead with you.
Okay.
And we're going to kind of give you a little bit of an open microphone, a little open-ended question to ask you, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing the city of Cleveland?
Traffic. There is, we thought the bypass would take away some of the traffic issues in the downtown area, but to me, it has only amplified the traffic. It did not do anything to take away our problem. But it doesn't bother me. I mean, I have lived here all my life, and we've had traffic problems, but we still don't have the problems that Atlanta has. And you being stuck on 85 or anything like that. We just have to be patient. And I find that being a problem in the city of Cleveland. As a matter of fact, yesterday, I had a man just run up on my bumper because he was impatient. He probably had somewhere to go, and I did too, but traffic to me, is our main problem in the city of Cleveland. But again, like I say, if you live where I live, you can only make a right turn to go anywhere. And I just do it. But somebody not living here doesn't understand that. And I really don't see how we're going to alleviate that problem unless when the third phase of the bypass get open, that will hopefully take some of the traffic. But we don't want all the traffic to leave the downtown area. We'll die. It's like, right now, I'm very proud of our downtown. I think it looks wonderful, and with the opening of Clyde's downtown, it's bringing more tourists and more of the local people into town, and I see people walking around, and I volunteer at the historic courthouse, and you just be surprised the people that are coming in there, and the traffic just doesn't seem to bother them. We really do have a lot of good people that will stop and let you out and everything, but that was my main concern, is just the traffic, because otherwise I have no qualms, no problems with Cleveland. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sutton. Mr. Turner.
Thank you. I feel like the biggest problem or issue, challenge facing Cleveland is leadership. We have a lot of challenges, traffic being one of them, infrastructure being another, water, sewer, economic growth. All of those things can be solved with good, strong leadership. And I submit to you that I'm the candidate that has the leadership and the vision that can find solutions, that can work with our businesses in the downtown square, that throughout the whole city. We can work with our partners in the state to solve the traffic solutions, to solve infrastructure solutions, but you got to have leadership and vision. And I feel like that's the biggest challenge facing the city, and I feel like I have what we need to move forward.
Thank you very much. Moving on. While the mayor plays a role in the city's vision and leadership, many key decisions come down to votes by the city council. How would you go about building consensus among the city council members to move forward and accomplish things for the benefit of the city? Mr. Turner, we're going to start with you this time.
Sure. Well, the mayor is just one vote. City council, they are duly elected as well and have constituents that they need to face. And, they certainly have to answer for their questions. But I think a big thing that could help with building consensus is communication. That falls back to leadership, but also falls back to informing the citizens about the issues that are going on. The city, I feel like, could do a better job of informing the public through alternative means such as social media and things other than the newspaper and traditional radio and traditional media. So I feel like engaging the public and building consensus through our community is a strong way to build consensus on the council and with the mayor's office.
Thank you. Ms. Sutton?
You said with the weak mayor system and
Yes, about
Okay.
the mayor building consensus to work with
Right.
the city council.
Well, I think also getting public input is big in building consensus. Having been on the city council for 20 years, and the mayor only breaks ties basically, he or she can also, have some input into what is going on. But basically, it comes down to the other council members. I think we should attend more retreats, have planning sessions, and engage with the GMRC, which is Georgia Mountain Regional Commission, the Georgia Municipal Association, and that we should have a way to listen and discuss issues and involve the other departments within the city, like the police department, the fire department, the water department, and the I forget what terms, the city administrator. We should all be able to get together. And I know a lot of times when there's three or more of us together, we have to have the media present. But we should be able to, just go and meet. I think networking with other cities has a lot to do with the way we should do our job. But basically, just getting public input means a lot to me. I'm a person that listens. If people come to me with a problem, I will take it back to the city council. We will discuss it. We will come up with some type of answer. And if I tell you that I'm going to come back to you, believe me, I will come back to you and let you know what the decision is. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to our next question. What do you believe, what do you believe should be done to make the city more attractive to businesses and industry, be it local entrepreneurs or a larger company? Ms. Sutton, we'll lead with you this time.
Well, I know the chamber plays a big part in that. And to make it more attractive, I really like the way that the downtown looks right now. I wish we had more trees and just some type of lighting, because when I go downtown at night, it's dark. And I think we should have more lighting in the downtown area. And the merchants, I feel like if they would come to the city council meetings more, we don't know what they need really, unless they bring it to us. So if they would bring ideas and everything like that, we can all work together and solve this problem, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Turner.
Yes, sir. How can we make Cleveland more attractive to business and industry? That's a very good question. And honestly, I've spoken to a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs since I announced my candidacy, and it's not because I went to them. They came to me with a lot of problems that they faced trying to do business and grow. One thing with permitting, they feel like I've been told numerous times that Cleveland is the city of no when you apply for a permit. That's a bad thing. That's a bad reputation to have. And instead, I feel like the city staff should be more business friendly and customer service minded in helping businesses find solutions to their permits instead of telling them no. Tell them how they can get to a yes. That's a good first step in making the city more attractive to business and industry. I feel like we could work more closely with the Department of Economic Development when companies are looking to relocate and grow their industry. We need to be knocking on their doors every day. For the past 10 years, I've worked for the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, where I'm the director of the Georgia Drivers Education Commission. I know a lot of state leaders, including agency heads. They're my friends, and I can tell you, if I call them with an issue from the city, I'm not going to have to introduce myself. They know who I am, and they'll take my call, and they'll help us. I feel like that those relationships that I've made over the last 10 years, I can leverage for the city, and that's what we need. It's part of leadership as well.
Thank you. Both of you have touched on downtown Cleveland already, so I want to turn to that for a little bit. Downtown is home to a business district that's very key to the local economy. And this kind of stems off what you were mentioning earlier, but I want to just kind of throw this out open-ended and see what you think. What you believe should be done to increase tourism and visitation to downtown Cleveland and its existing businesses? Mr. Turner, we'll start with you.
I think we could do a little bit more regarding signage with the Appalachian Parkway coming from both the north and the south, notifying folks of what's going on in downtown Cleveland. That would be a good way. Maybe a small advertising campaign to let folks know what's going on. Again, social media, I mentioned it earlier, it's the way that we live right now. And the fact that we don't have folks promoting that cohesively from one voice, I feel like is an issue. I come from the generation that knows how to use these smartphones and social media, and I feel like that we're lacking in that way. And it's a good positive platform that we can get out our message to not only those coming in and touring, but also the citizens here. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sutton.
All right. I agree with Mr. Turner that social media is taking over. I'm not one to use it very much, but I do think that we have the chamber, we have the Visitors Bureau in Helen that could also help us out. But we have worked diligently trying to get signage on the Appalachian Parkway when I was on the city council, and that was going to be one of the things that I was going to work on very much so. But also on other points coming into Cleveland, we need signage. It's very hard for people to find Cleveland when you come across the Appalachian Parkway. But we do need that signage. We need more restaurants, I would say. And being with the businesses coming up 129, that's where the growth is going to be. And that's why there's a comprehensive plan to let you know where the growth is going to be. On the Helen Highway, there's going to be growth. And the comprehensive plan, if people will look at it, you will see where it's going and everything. And it's the chamber, I know, does a lot to enhance the businesses and things that come into Cleveland. But basically, all we have is local. And we have just got to get out there and work to bring businesses into Cleveland. If you hear of one coming into Hall County, we need to get down there and put our name in the hat and try to get them to come to Cleveland. but we've got to have the infrastructure, which the city is working on now, the water, but we've got to have what the people want. And that's what I think under my leadership and what the city council has done in the past is proactive. They are very proactive, not reactive to what's going on. The only way you can find out what's going on is come to a council meeting or just talk to your councilman in your ward, and you would be surprised what is being done in the city of Cleveland. Thank you.
Thank you. We've talked a little bit about getting people to come to downtown Cleveland. Now I want to kind of move on and talk a little bit about what to do once they're here. Some business owners or residents have expressed their thoughts and concerns about navigating downtown. This includes concerns about parking spaces and making the area more pedestrian friendly. What, if anything, do you believe should be done to address those concerns? I believe Ms. Sutton will begin with you.
I think that people should obey the speed limit in the city of Cleveland. If people would really slow down and drive the speed limit, you can walk through the city of Cleveland. It's not as dangerous as you think, but people, the drivers, or the motorists, I should say, should do their part as well as the people in the downtown area. And I find a lot to do in the downtown area. I like going in the little shops. I don't go in very many, but they have some unique items when you do go in there. And when I talk to people, I tell them, you just should come to Cleveland. There's plenty to do. They may not think so because it's a small town, but you can walk around the city of Cleveland. And as far as parking, we have parking spaces. If people would only park off the square and not try to park in front of the area where they plan to shop. There's parking at Freedom Park. There's parking here across from the bank. There's parking at the courthouse. There's plenty of parking space as I see it in the city of Cleveland. You just can't always park exactly where you want to. And I find myself parking and walking for my health, if nothing else. So, maybe that's what a lot of us should do. But I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Turner. I'm sure he has different ideas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Turner.
I agree that parking is a big issue facing the downtown square. I can tell you with having a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old, parking across the square and walking to a business or a restaurant is not the easiest thing to do. So finding solutions in close proximity to businesses, I think, is important. I don't have the answer to that. I'm willing to listen to anybody that says that they do. I haven't found anybody that has the answer to it yet, though. When it comes to the safety aspect of speed and pedestrians, I have a 10-year career in highway safety. For 4 years, I was the state's pedestrian safety program manager from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. I hold a program certificate in that area. I managed the speed training program for law enforcement officers in the state. So public safety is important to me. I feel like I have a good grasp on that. And I would welcome the city to search for grant opportunities that are available. That's what I've done for the past 10 years, and I can't ever recall the city of Cleveland applying for a grant for highway safety related issues. And that's what those grants are there for, is to help the city with data proven problems. And I hear a lot of things about speed right now. If speed is an issue and you have the data to support it, there are programs to support speed enforcement in the city. The same with pedestrians. There's engineering grants available to help with sidewalks and crosswalks and different things like that. So that's something that's important to me, and I feel like I have a good grasp on how to deal with it.
Thank you. On to our next question. As Northeast Georgia continues to grow, excuse me, not coronavirus. As Northeast Georgia continues to grow, having enough attainable housing remains a need for many communities as more people move in. Do you believe that is a need in Cleveland? And if so, what do you think should be done to bring more housing developments to the city? I believe Mr. Turner will start with you this time.
Yeah, I do think the city needs more affordable housing, and I think I've touched on this previously tonight, but the permitting phase when helping people build homes is an issue that we could have more affordable housing. I've had several folks in the construction industry talk to me about the permitting application, the phases that they've had in the city, and getting the appropriate permits and zoning issues and things like that. And they tell me it's hard to work with the city. We need to change that atmosphere of being hard to work with the city of Cleveland. So I feel like that's one good way to do it. If you have a need, the private sector is going to find a way to provide for it. So I feel like as a conservative, the private sector is going to fill that need for affordable housing if it exists in the city, and I feel that it does. We just need to make it better to work with the city and in permitting and inspections to make it happen. Thank you.
Ms. Sutton.
Okay. Well, I'm not a builder, so I haven't been to the city for a permit, but I do know that the city has ordinances and there's different specs from the state of Georgia that builders have to adhere to, and the city has always, as far as I know, been friendly. And the builders, before you decide to build or anything, I think you should go to the city and see what the requirements are. You don't just take up and go. And yes, we need more housing because affordable housing, which I don't know what people can afford and what they can't afford. But we do have apartment complexes and people are building more. And I'm glad to see the growth in housing here in Cleveland. Cleveland is not a big area, so you have to but again, I say go to the city and find out what the requirements are before you decide to do anything in the city. Because I wouldn't go to another city and just assume that I can do this and do that. But believe me, the ladies at City Hall are only doing their job. And they do a wonderful job. They are continually taking classes to enhance their work and make sure, and they are, now I know there's one that's real friendly, and, but you just, they have a job to do, and they just can't always give you what you want when you walk through the door. You have forms to fill out. You have to just adhere to the policies. Go to the city hall and see what their policies and procedures are. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to turn a little bit. A big part of the quality of life that we enjoy here has to do with our public safety. Is there a particular initiative the city should take or study to help with the public safety in Cleveland, be it for firefighting or police or some other aspect? Ms. Sutton, we'll begin with you.
Repeat that question.
Sorry. Is there a particular initiative or issue the city should address, either by taking action or studying it, to help with improving public safety in Cleveland?
Of course, there's always room for improvement. So I think the city should, and I know they do, make sure that the firemen always go for training, and our fire chief makes sure that everything, the equipment and everything is up to par. And the police department, they are constantly going for training. And there's always room for improvement, because if I say they're the greatest, which we do have some great policemen, fire department, their response time and everything is very good. And they should, we can always have the public, have some type of public forum that the public can come and talk to the firemen. They can come and talk to the police department. Maybe even do some type of ride with a cop or something like that, ride with the fireman. But I know the insurance and things like that would probably be tremendous if we did something like that. But just come and have some time, just talk with them and see what's going on. But like I said, I think it's all in training. It's training the public and the employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Turner.
Yeah, we're a big public safety family. I'll tell you a quick story before we. My son loves firemen, and we've been to the fire station several times to visit the fire trucks, and he likes policemen too, and he's been involved in the campaign. I call him my sign manager for the campaign, and he's starting to recognize symbols. So we'll see a sign when we're riding down the road, and he'll say, "Dad, that's when I'm running for sheriff." I said, "That's right," and he said. Next question out of his mouth, he said, "How old are you, Dad?" I said, "I'm 34. And he said, "When I turn 34, I'm going to run for sheriff. Will you help me put out signs?" So I see sheriff here, and I see several sheriff candidates in the room. You better watch out. When Weston turns 34, he's running for sheriff. He's already made that known. I have the utmost respect for public safety, our fire, EMS, our police. I feel like communication could be better. That goes back to social media. I follow all of the police departments in surrounding counties on social media, and I hope that the city of Cleveland would consider doing that as well. Maybe a community policing program just to help build camaraderie. We live in a time where police officers are met with hostility in the country, and that's something that we need to change. And while it's not the burden of the police to do that, I feel like they're going to have to step up nationwide to do that. It's unfortunate that a few bad examples throughout the country have taken storm throughout the country and become viral on social media and different things like that, and it's left a bad impression for law enforcement everywhere, and that's not right and it's not fair. And we all need to support our police and fire and public safety officials.
Thank you. Going to move on, and I want to talk to you a little bit about your vision. Not how well you see, but your vision for Cleveland over the next 4 years in a future where you have been elected mayor. What do you see Cleveland accomplishing in the next 4 years? And if that's a little bit too broad for you, you can talk about what you would want to be a top priority that you see accomplished in the next 4 years. Mr. Turner, we'll begin with you.
So I think for my vision for Cleveland, it would be viewed by the public, by the business community, as more open for business, ready to help. And as far as what's the second part of the question?
Well, it was kind of what you would see over the 4 years and in general, and then if you need to want to specifically point out a priority that you would like to say, if nothing else, I want to get this accomplished.
Yeah. So I think for at the end of 4 years, I would want to see Cleveland starting to look more like our neighboring cities. We don't have to be Dahlonega or Clarksville or Cornelia, but we can certainly have more industry, more restaurants, more things to do. And I think at the end of 4 years, I would want to see Cleveland moving toward that direction of having more options for people to spend their money and lower the tax burden on the property tax owners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Sutton?
Okay. In the next 4 years, I'd like to see our water sources taken care of. You know, we are looking for new wells and places to dig new wells, and the water, even though we have a new water tank that was just constructed south of town, but the city continues to search for water. And my next thing would be, I would, in the next 4 years, I would like to see the Talon complex started or either in fruition, you know, and I would like for it to be completed before I go out of office, if I should be elected mayor, because like Mr. Turner said, it can't be Cornelia. We may not have a new city hall complex and fire department like the other neighboring counties or anything, but I would like to see more businesses come to Cleveland, not only restaurants, but other businesses. It's hard for me to find a pair of shoes in the city of Cleveland. We need some department stores, you know. We need things like that. We need things for I would say for the children, you know, to buy clothing for children. We just need some type of stores coming in, you know, some type of shopping center besides the Walmart center, which doesn't offer much, but I'm proud of Walmart. At least they're here. At least that was a beginning. That was a good step forward. And I think with the opening of the new senior assisted living center, we could put something in there, sort of like the Gainesville has, to do a little shopping area right around there for the seniors and make it safer for them to be able to shop. And I think with the right people and the right vision, we can do it, and it will be done. I may not be here to see it, but it will be done eventually. So, thank you.
Thank you. We've talked a lot of questions we received focused heavily on jobs, new business, economic development. We had one resident who sent a question. Might be a little bit of a curveball, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I want to see your response. This resident expressed concern about the pace of new commercial growth near the city's neighborhoods. The example they gave was they pointed to the Underwood Street neighborhood, and they felt that it was under threat of encroachment with all the new businesses that have opened up there. What are your thoughts on balancing economic development with existing residential areas? Something will begin with you.
The residential areas, like I said, with economic growth and everything, we have got to be prepared for it. And you said the Underwood Street area. I think that's going to be a very positive area for the city of Cleveland. And I don't think it'll grow anymore, really. The growth is going to go out 129 and 75. I think that's where the most growth is going to go from now on, because right in that area there's not much left to be developed. So we have got to reach out and go elsewhere. And I don't going 75 right now, it had, according to the comprehensive plan, that's where the growth is going to go, basically towards the Helen area, back 75 north. So,
Thank
but
you.
I'm open to it. Thank you.
Mr. Turner.
I like this question because it poses new opportunities. It would require a change in ordinance from the city because they currently don't allow it. But imagine a mixed-use development near the downtown where you had commercial, retail, dining, and affordable housing in one place where they can walk downstairs and get a cup of coffee, walk across the square and purchase something for their kids or have dinner and then walk back home. I think that that's an exciting thing. You see it taken off throughout the country, and I feel like the city should get on board. As far as with the growth outpacing itself with economic growth and traffic with city streets, those type of developments reduces traffic because they're walking. Folks have to realize with growth comes challenges. Traffic's one of those challenges for Cleveland. I feel like the Appalachian Parkway has alleviated that to some degree, but I understand the traffic counts are still very high in downtown, so it hasn't taken away interest from people wanting to go and spend their money, which that's a good thing as well. So it's a delicate balance. You have to decide, do you want growth or not? And do you want managed growth or not? Those types of questions require hard answers and hard work, and I'm ready to get to work. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, we've talked about a lot of challenges. We've talked about a lot of good things. You both obviously have expressed some passion for living here in Cleveland and what we live amongst. But I want to ask you, in your opinion, what is the biggest opportunity that Cleveland has? And what I mean is there an opportunity to market itself a certain way, or is there a certain asset about our city that is something we really should build on and really make it the heart of what we do? Mr. Turner, I'll leave with you.
Absolutely. The heart of what we do and the greatest asset that we have in this community is the people. I love the people in this city. They're our neighbors. It's our family. It's what makes Cleveland great is the people. People want to move here. It's a great community. We have low crime. We have great schools. There's no reason not to want to live in Cleveland other than maybe you have traffic and you don't have a lot of options when it comes to dining and retail and things like that. But the heart of what makes Cleveland great is our neighbors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Sutton?
Mr. Turner stole my. But what makes Cleveland great, what I was thinking earlier today was the low crime rate, the school system, the people, and the just living in this area with the mountains, the beauty of this area. But basically, it is the people. And I just love Cleveland. I've lived here all my life, and I plan to die here, which I'm sure I will. But I just, no, I'm not going anywhere right now. God's not ready for me yet. But I just love this area because of the people. I like the idea of when I go to the store, you can speak to somebody. You don't have to worry about being mugged yet. But it's just being, you feel the love, you feel the safety, and just being able to just be out among the people is my thing. I'm a people person. I don't meet a stranger. So, and when I meet people out of town or whatever, and they say, where are you from or anything, I say, Cleveland. They say, where's Cleveland? I say, you know where Helen is? They say, yeah, Babyland. They say, yeah, what's to do there? I said, oh, you got the hiking, you got Mount Yonah, you got Babyland, you've got nature trails, you got the waterfalls. there is a lot in Cleveland if you just get out and find it. And it's just beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have time for one more question. And this is a hypothetical that someone asked us to share. We're going to preface this. It's about grants, and grants typically are for a designated purpose when you receive them, and they sometimes come with other requirements that you must either match or whatever. We're going to throw the rule book out on this. Hypothetically, if you received a $1 million grant for the city of Cleveland to use any way you wanted, and you had the power to make something happen, what would you do with it and why? Ms. Sutton?
$1 million. I would make sure that these water lines, the infrastructure in Cleveland is taken care of. And it would probably cost $1 million because of all the old water lines that are run through the town that have been here forever. And the other thing I would do is make sure that the fire department and the police department had the proper training and the equipment that they needed to do their job. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Turner?
That's like a grant writer's dream come true of having no rules on a grant. I feel like we need to split it up a little bit and share among several different areas. One would be downtown improvement. I would hope that we could build a parking deck for $1 million, but I know that's not an option. I think economic incentive grants to attract the kind of businesses that we want for downtown would be a great way to spend some of that money. Infrastructure, water, sewer, high-speed internet, natural gas, all of those things that are needed for successful growth. I know my son would love a new playground. I can't leave that out. He would be very upset with me if we had a lot of money without building new playgrounds. Things for families to do and enjoy the city.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I believe that's all the time we have for questions this evening. Our candidates now have told us a little bit about their qualities, but I think we can say time management is one for both of them. I don't think we had anybody go over. No warnings? Worried, Beth, you were going to fall asleep over there. Again, I think we should give our candidates another round of applause for their participation tonight.
Wayne, there's a young, I'm happy to see this young man sitting back here. I think he's the youngest one in the room, and he had a question for us.
We heard this, and he wanted to know this. Well, him and my other little son that couldn't come. He was asking about how you got your contributions. Do you put your funds for yourself, or do you go to different counties? How do you get to support?
I know we're trying to wrap up. If either of you would like.
Do we also have time for closing statements?
Yeah, well, that's what I want to make sure we got time. If y'all want to address that and make it a 30-second response, we might can work that in, but we're tight for time.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I just wanted to tell him mine came locally. And some of them are my own funds. And I do have some family members who have helped me with my campaign by working on different things. So that's where mine came from. It was from the local people who evidently love me. So, and believe in my candidacy.
Absolutely. I love campaign transparency. My campaign contributions come from my friends and my family. I've been involved in politics for a long time, and I've supported a lot of candidates, and I'm proud to see that a lot of them have come back to support me. My largest contribution come from someone that was in my wedding. He's been a good friend of mine for a long time. I supported him when he ran for statewide office, and he returned that support. My second largest contribution came from my grandmother, who's a city resident and one of my #1 supporters, and I thank her, and I believe she's here somewhere in the back. But that's where my supports come from, low dollar contributions as well as large ones.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on very quickly to closing remarks. Again, you have 3 minutes. Since Ms. Sutton went first in the opening remarks, Mr. Turner, I'm going to let you lead on the closing remarks.
Thank you. First, I want to thank Ms. Sutton for being here and sharing her ideas for the future and putting herself up for public office once again. Thank you, Wayne, Dean, and Beth for facilitating and organizing this forum. And again, thank you to all of you for being here. I feel like that you've seen that there are big differences in the two candidates, and I hope that none of you have left today without making a decision. If there's any questions that you'd have, I'd love to answer those. I've had a lot of support, and I've been very humbled by that. Former Governor Nathan Deal has endorsed my campaign, as well as Governor Brian Kemp, and I'm very encouraged to have their support because they know that I have this experience and leadership and vision to move Cleveland forward. I have the support of so many local folks here in Cleveland that have contributed to my campaign, who have offered to put their sign or my sign in their yard, have lended me their name and support, and it really means the world to me. I never thought that I would ever run for mayor of Cleveland, but I feel like we're at that time where we need leadership, and I'm happy to offer it and serve my community. I ask for your vote, I ask for your prayers, and I ask for your support. And I promise you, I'll go to work every day. I'll work hard. How we can improve Cleveland will be the first thing on my mind when I wake up, the last thing on my mind when I go to bed. And I assure you that you can count on me to do what's right. Thank you, and I would humbly ask for your consideration.
Thank you. Ms. Sutton.
I just want to thank you guys also. When Beth first called me, she said, would you consider it? I didn't have to think about it. I said yes, because having served on the city council for the last 20 years, I know what Cleveland needs. I know I've been there. I've even been in the trash truck. So I know what Cleveland needs. And I am very proud of the city of Cleveland. I'm very proud of the employees that we have here. They do a wonderful job, and I do think, and I know, well, I'm not going to say I think, I know evidently that I have done a wonderful job because you put me in office for 4 terms, and I'm asking that you would put me in again as mayor, and I will work hard as I have in the past. And I will make sure that things get done in the city of Cleveland. And it's so good to see so many of my family and friends here tonight, as Mr. Turner has said. And just to see some of the other candidates that are running for office, I look forward to working with them, whoever should win. And I just say thank you, and believe me, this was not an easy decision for me to make. I prayed about this, and one day I let my Bible open, and it said, I am a servant, and that's what I intend to be for the city of Cleveland. If I am elected mayor, I will be a servant, and I will serve each and every one of you. I will not make a difference in anybody, because I am a humble person. I have worked hard for everything that I have and don't have. But if I am elected your mayor, I will be here to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you. A saying I've heard over the years is that complaining is easy, governing is hard. And perhaps that's why almost everybody has an opinion on what should be done in the community, yet so few seek office. I want to thank you both again for your participation in tonight's forum and for being willing and dedicated to serve this city. I also want to thank all of you here who are attending the forum or listening on WRWH radio or following us on the White County News Facebook live stream. Each of you are doing your part to be an informed citizen and to be prepared before casting a ballot. I hope you continue to do that in what's going to shape up to be a very busy election season for us all. It's time. I'll turn it over to Beth to close us out.
I don't think I could do any better than that. That was fantastic, Wayne. I was like, it was a rah-rah moment there. Thank you so much. Again, thank you all for coming out. This was put together by a committee of the Chamber, which is our Governmental Affairs Committee. And I noticed I wanted to recognize those folks who participate on our Governmental Affairs Committee. So when you see them in the grocery store, thank them. Miss Louise Nix, who's stepped out just earlier, Mr. Howard Miller, thank you, Howard, and Dr. John Yarborough. Thank you so much. We appreciate your work. These guys work tirelessly to help put programs like this together for the Chamber. I certainly appreciate both of our candidates for being here today and all of you for participating and hearing. Thank you so much. And if there's anything the Chamber can do, you can call on me at any time. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, that's the candidate forum, the mayoral candidate forum here in Cleveland. And you heard from each of the two candidates, Annie Sutton and Josh Turner, as they addressed the questions and also gave their own particular comments, opening and closing comments for this evening. Thank you for joining us on WRWH, and always glad to hear your comments about our programming and getting this information out to you on local news radio, WRWH. I'm Dean Dyer. We are Local News Radio, WRWH, and W230CT, Cleveland.